Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to the Thai Expat Daily Show. I'm your host, Kieran Mack, as always, and truly delighted you've been able to tune in with us yet again for another show. Now, before we get into the multitude of trending stories here in Thailand, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. If you like listening to us on a podcast player, link down below in the description that will take you to a vast array of podcast players where the show is hosted. And finally, if you like the show, if you want to support the show, you can do so by simply becoming a channel member. Details also down below in the description, and it's really as simple as hitting join. So that's all done and dusted. Let's jump into those trending stories here in Thailand today. Police in Phuket were called to break up a brawl involving 5 foreign tourists and 3 local taxi drivers following the circulation of a video of the incident online. The altercation took place near the Vishet Songkran Road near the Darasamut intersection. The 26-second video, which quickly went viral on social media, was shared with the caption, "It's happening again, hashtag Phuket is heating up with taxis versus tourists in front of a well-known shopping mall." The footage shows a chaotic scene where tourists and taxi drivers clash. According to an eyewitness account, the confrontation began when 3 Iranian women stood in front of a taxi. The taxi driver asked them to step aside, which reportedly upset the women, leading to them to inform their husbands. The husbands, along with their friends, were allegedly intoxicated at the time. The situation quickly spiraled into a physical fight, with punches and bottles being thrown. The intoxicated group fled the scene, leaving behind a family of 3 or 4, who later reported the incident to the police. The video also captured a woman whose necklace was stolen during the brawl. The incident sparked widespread debate online, with some blaming unruly tourists and others calling for stricter law enforcement to prevent such occurrences. Comments varied from "don't just blame Thais, there are plenty of troublesome tourists in Patong," to "good people suffer while thugs run rampant, the law shouldn't be lenient." In response to the incident, Police Chief Police Colonel Chatri ordered the arrest of the 5 tourists and 3 taxi drivers involved. They were brought to the local police station for questioning. The police investigation revealed that the altercation began when the tourists leaned against a parked taxi while waiting for a ride back to their hotel in Patong. The taxi driver asked them to move, sparking an argument that escalated into violence. After reviewing CCTV footage, investigators concluded that both parties were equally involved in the fight. They were subsequently charged with engaging in a loud fight in a public area or behaving in a manner that disturbed public peace and order. Now, despite the charges, both groups agreed to let bygones be bygones and were allowed to leave without any further consequences. A 36-year-old man from New Zealand tragically lost his life after leaping from the 7th floor of a hotel in Pattaya earlier this morning, August 29th. At approximately 6 a.m., Patia police received a report of a foreigner who had fallen to his death at a hotel in the city centre near Beach Road in the Nong Pru sub-district. Upon receiving the call, police and rescue teams quickly arrived at the scene. Authorities found the man's lifeless body on top of air conditioning units and electrical conduits attached to a nearby building, where he had fallen from the balcony of a 7th floor room. The impact was fatal and rescue workers carefully retrieved his body. A preliminary police examination found no signs of physical assault or foul play. The man's identity has been withheld by local media pending full notification of his relatives and the New Zealand embassy. Now, according to hotel staff, the man had been displaying signs of what appeared to be drug-induced hallucinations. He was reportedly shouting "help me" in English. Shortly before he jumped, staff had attempted to calm him down but were unable to prevent this tragedy. After the incident, they immediately contacted the authorities. Patia police conducted a thorough examination of the victim's room and found no evidence suggesting foul play. Hotel staff also provided a video clip showing the man in a highly agitated state prior to his jump, which had been collected as evidence. The body has been sent to the Institute of Forensic Medicine at the Police General Hospital for an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. Police are working with the New Zealand Embassy to inform the man's family of the tragic event, and rest in peace to the young man. Now, the United Kingdom's National Crime Agency has issued a stern warning to travellers from Thailand, Canada, and the United States. Attempting to bring cannabis into the UK could lead to arrest. This warning comes in response to a significant surge in cannabis-related arrests. The British Embassy in Bangkok reported that 378 air passengers have been detained for smuggling cannabis this year alone, with authorities seizing an estimated 15 tons of the drug at UK airports. This figure is nearly 3 times higher than the 2023 total, when about 5 tons of cannabis were confiscated and 136 individuals were arrested. Of this year's arrests, 184 cases involved cannabis originating from Thailand, 75 from Canada, and 47 from the United States. Cannabis is legal to varying extents in all 3 regions, but its transportation into the UK remains strictly prohibited. The NCA also reiterated that anyone caught smuggling narcotics into the UK could face severe penalties, including up to 14 years in prison. So far this year, 196 individuals have been convicted, receiving sentences that collectively totaled nearly 188 years. NCA experts attribute the rise in smuggling incidents to organised crime gangs who exploit the legal status of cannabis in certain countries, recruiting couriers to transport the drug into the UK. The NCA continues to collaborate with domestic and international parties to crack down on the high-risk smuggling routes. The son of a famous Spanish actor has been sentenced to life imprisonment by a Thai court for the brutal murder of a Colombian plastic surgeon on the island of Koh Phangan. The high-profile case has drawn significant attention in Spain. Daniel Sancho Bronchello, a 30-year-old chef, was convicted of the premeditated murder of Edwin Arteaga, 44, in August of last year. The case attracted widespread media coverage, partly due to Sancho's father, Rodolfo, being a well-known actor in Spain. Numerous Spanish journalists traveled to Thailand to cover the trial. Following the verdict, Busakorn Kaiwalid, the lawyer representing Arrieta's family, expressed the family's satisfaction with the outcome. The plaintiff is pleased with the sentence because it ensures a life in prison for the perpetrator and they will receive some financial compensation. Busakorn stated outside the Koh Samui Provincial Court. She was emphasized that both parties have the right to appeal under Thai law. Regarding Sancho's reaction, Busakorn commented, "He is understandably distressed, but the loss suffered by the victim's family cannot be overlooked." Sancho maintained that he acted in self-defense, claiming that Arrieta attempted to assault him. He admitted to hiding the body, but denied any intent to destroy the victim's passport. The court heard that Sancho had dismembered Arrieta's body and disposed of the remains in plastic bags around Koh Phangan. Although Thailand retains the death penalty for certain crimes, including premeditated murder, executions are rare, with the last one occurring in 2018. Arrieta's family had expressed their preference for a life sentence, stating that it would give Sancho ample time to reflect on his actions. Sancho's defense argued that the incident was a tragic accident following a struggle, with Sancho's claim he acted in self-defense after Arrieta allegedly tried to force him into a sexual encounter. However, the prosecution provided evidence that Sancho had premeditated the act, having purchased knives, plastic bags, and cleaning supplies before the killing. And finally, Patia City officials are planning to revoke the lease and demolish a cafe located at the Bali Lighthouse after discovering that the tenant, who was originally contracted to build a restroom, had instead opened a cafe and placed tables and chairs in a public area. And I can only say, only in Thailand would something like this happen. During a Patia City Council meeting on August 27th, Mr. Sutanras, a council member representing District 4, raised concerns that the cafe at the Bali Lighthouse, he questioned why the building was supposed to serve as a public restroom according to the city's contract, had been converted into a cafe. He reported receiving numerous complaints from residents who alleged that the cafe was misusing public space by restricting access to the area for those who did not purchase food or drinks. In response, the deputy mayor explained that the area around Bali Lighthouse is managed by the Patia City Environmental Office. He noted that the space had been auctioned once for commercial use, but the auction was cancelled during the COVID-19 pandemic due to economic downturn. The area, which had previously housed public restrooms and a small souvenir shop, was auctioned again to prevent it from falling into disrepair. The auction began with a starting bid of 20,000 baht, and the winning bidder secured the lease for 50,000 baht. However, Mr. Manak emphasized that the lease was granted solely for the operation of a restroom facility covering an area of 30 square meters, not a cafe. He acknowledged, based on photo evidence provided by Mr. Metacrit, that the tenant might have violated the contract by converting the restroom into a cafe. Now, Mr. Manock assured the council that the city would conduct an immediate investigation of the premises. If it is confirmed that the tenant violated the lease agreement by operating a cafe and placing tables and chairs in unauthorized areas along the seafront, the lease will be terminated and the cafe will be demolished.